You are tuned in to What Up Baltimore online radio. Please note that the views and opinions expressed on this channel are of the host and not of LadyJMedia. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, What Up Baltimore TV. And if you really don't want to miss any of the shows, hit that notification bell and you'll get a message every time we come on. Now, we got it from here, so sit back, relax, and stay tuned. Sorry, I muted myself. I'm Dr. Lady J. We're going to jump right into it tonight because we got some big breaking news in Baltimore that we're going to talk about. I got my good friend Ricky Vaughn on here. I love this guy. I love him. So he's on here. And I want to say thank you, first of all, because as we know, Ricky is a world traveler. So he's traveling right now, businessman. But he took time just before his flight, before he boards his flight, to talk to us. So we want to get his take on what's going on. I got my friend Joyce Butler on here. She does her show Conversations with Joy B on What Up Baltimore Radio. So Ricky, I'm just going to jump in and start with you to get your take on the big news this morning about Police Commissioner Michael Harrison's resignation.
It's about time. No, let me I'm unfiltered. You know what? I happen to know Commissioner Harrison, not necessarily personal, but we do interact as I go throughout Baltimore, and of course on his daily duties as a public servant. He's a great man of God. Let me say that. First of all,
Yes.
you can. I'm one of them type of folks where I never, I don't take anything away from anyone that they're true and humble, and he is truly a humble and servant of God. His faith is definitely there. As you know, when I campaigned for mayor of Baltimore, I was one of the 23 out of the 23 candidates. I was one of the few who said that I didn't believe that the direction of Baltimore should have been put in the hands of someone not from Baltimore.
Right.
And I say that respectfully, not against anything as far as his professionalism or as far as him as a character, but I believe in order to fix the streets of Baltimore, you need to be from Baltimore. I also believe that Baltimore has the talent that is needed to turn Baltimore if we truly listen to the talent of Baltimore. I said it before, it's crazy how folks that are running certain departments, whether it's recreation and parks or whether it's the police department, we outsource them and go to other cities and states to recruit them when we got talent right here in East Baltimore and West Baltimore and even in Cherry Hill. We campaign off of talking about grassroots, but why is it no member of a grassroots organization part of Mayor Scott's cabinet? We go to them when we're campaigning and ask them to help us put out signage and everything else and say that that's the grassroots and that's what's needed in Baltimore. But when we get into elected office, we don't bring them in. With Commissioner Harrison, again, I think that he tried his best, but I'm also a businessman. And I look at what we call in the business world ROI, return on investment. And if I have 300 homicides and I'm still having a 6-figure income, then that's the job for everybody. Want to put their resume in for that. So when you start looking at the results, and again, I'm not taking anything away from them, but when you look at the results and look at the path and the direction of Baltimore, it did not justify a 6-figure salary for. There you go. Gotcha. I'm at the airport. I don't even know this guy. He's just waiting. It doesn't justify a 6-figure salary for someone, especially when they have a guaranteed salary and a guaranteed bonus.
Exactly. And everything you said, I agree with everything. I'm gonna let Joyce jump in and then I'll say my piece. Go ahead, Joyce.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. Okay, so Ricky, I don't necessarily agree that we need somebody from Baltimore. When Commissioner Harrison came to Baltimore, they were like falling all over. Oh, look at his stellar record in New Orleans, and the crime rate is so low, and this and that. Okay, so you have the mayor who's Park Heights. I'm going to try to be very, very respectful because I don't want to offend anybody. So if you see me taking like a breath, it means that I want to say something else, but I'm going to say the respectful thing. So Brandon Scott working closely with Commissioner Harrison, Brandon Scott from Park Heights, everybody, when Brandon Scott was elected to mayor, and I know we aren't talking about him in specific, but I'm bringing him up because he works in close correlation with the commissioner. Now, I knew from day one, it was just something about the commissioner. From what I see, I knew that he was going to stay for a little bit, just a minute, because even if he had left sooner in his term, he was going to get that money because he had an ironclad contract. There was nothing, flimsy about that contract that they had with Commissioner Harrison. I am very surprised that we didn't hear sooner. There were murmurings. He's leaving. Eric Costello, is that his name? He said he contended from the start. This man is not here to stay. And so now we have the mayor again bragging about the person who's going to be interim commissioner. Brandon Scott, please, just shut City Hall down now. Everybody needs to go. Everybody needs to go. Any affiliation. Just go. Just let me tell. I don't know what's going to happen, but everybody in City Hall needs to go. I don't, oh, this person's doing a great. Nobody's doing a great job.
Nope.
We have no. I'm trying to think of a word now because I don't want to. Again, I don't want to be offensive to anybody, and I don't want anybody calling up Dr. J's platform and say, "Hey, you had Joyce Butler on that show, and she said X, Y, Z." I just think that we need a clean slate. I know that the commissioner himself is not going out here committing crimes, but what we have is the commissioner telling police officers, stand down. We're going to have these kids out here and they're going to politely get on a van. And, if they're out late, no. Something has to give. Is there not like a bomb for Baltimore? What are we doing? What is wrong with us? We have to look at that. Like when we start talking about all this crime that's going on in the city of Baltimore, we have to, as parents, as caregivers, as men and women of Baltimore, we have to look like what's going on? What is going on? Who is going to be accountable? It seems to me the commissioner doesn't want to be accountable because he's like, oh, let me bow out gracefully. I can't help Baltimore. I think that's the signal that he is giving to Baltimore. And people can stand up there and give these speeches and say, oh, we're going to be in great hands under this man right here. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see, because in the coming months, we're going to see just how this thing is going to play out. It's not going to work. It's just not going to work. Dr. J, I'm going to let you, while I think of some words here that are very polite. You go ahead.
If I can say this, the problem with us is us. Let's just be real.
I agree.
We've I said two things that you said, Queen, is that I literally, Dr. J, if you remember when I was campaigning, I said the way you fix Baltimore is by getting rid of everybody. I said that at every debate. I said that at town halls. And I said it from the approach of a business, because whether folks want to believe it or not, politics is a business. When
It
you
is a
are the
business.
mayor, when you are the president of the city council, negotiating contracts and negotiating different budgets, proposals, that's a business. And I said it. I said, you know what? Even from my standpoint of operating, restaurants, I had to go in some of my concepts, and I had to just start over from scratch.
Right.
And that's what's needed in Baltimore. Typically, when you're building a business or you're building a infrastructure, you have to have a foundation. Baltimore does not have a foundation. Our foundation
It's crumbled.
is crumbled, is broken. So that's one. I do agree with you on that. When you look at Commissioner Harrison, and it was rumors even when the campaign, when folks was campaigning, the Sheila Dixons and the Tharoos and all of them, it
Mhm.
was conversation around Harrison would leave when the next administration got in.
Mhm.
So I'm surprised that it, again, to your point, that it didn't come sooner. I believe part of that was maybe from the man isn't, he's very intelligent, so maybe lining something up kind of in the works as he's kind of transitioning this or whatever the case may be. The only reason, if I can counter, the only reason why I said someone needs to be from Baltimore, the next police commissioner, is because someone needs to understand the streets and be in the streets of Baltimore. Whether it's and I'm not saying you have to be born and raised from Baltimore, but at least have some time invested in the communities of
Right.
Baltimore. You talk about how do you build that relationship with police community, with police, community policing. It's based off of getting out there, shaking hands with people. Many of us remember growing up when it was the officer friendlies. I didn't break the law because and I still remember today his name, Willie Kennedy, a Baltimore City police officer, Willie Kennedy, out of the Central District, that was assigned to Sector 3 up in White Lock. And when I was walking and doing stuff, throwing rocks, it was Officer Kennedy who said, "You don't want me to call Veronica, do you?" Knew my
Mhm.
mom by first name. And
Mhm.
part of that was getting out there, building that relationship. But when you bring folks in from Louisiana or Kentucky or Philadelphia that's never been in our streets, never walked our streets, never been to community meetings, haven't built that relationship with folks like Andre Muhammad and Dr. Bundy, folks like that,
Yes.
getting out there,
I know
then
Dr.
it's going to be
Bunley well. Yeah.
very challenging for them to manage a department, because they don't have those connections and the resources going to help them hold folks accountable. Because again, whether you want to call it a telltale system or whatever, but it was those folks like the Dr. Alvin Hathaway and the Bishop Stokes and all of them that was on the phone with the police department and the mayor's office saying, "This is what you got to do."
Yeah.
So, I think and I'm not all, the next police commissioner. It's some folks I thought that were very qualified. I would have loved, and I'll say it publicly, I would have loved to see Monique Brown, who is the one of the highest ranking African American females in Baltimore City Police. I would have loved to see her as the next commissioner, and for two
Right.
reasons. One, I've seen her in the community and engage, and I'm going to say this, in uniform and out of uniform. And I
Right.
think that's the key. Folks think that you got to have that uniform on, and that's when you got to be all about business. I've seen that sister in the community in some jeans and flip flops, and talking to folks not on the clock,
Right.
so not even getting a paycheck. And
Mhm.
so that's where, when you talk about someone leading a police department and leading a division of Baltimore, that's what we need. And it's not just about the police commissioner. We got so many other departments. When you look at certain members of the mayor's cabinet, Recreation and Parks, not from Baltimore. Police Commissioner, not from Baltimore. School Superintendent, not from
Not from
Baltimore.
Baltimore.
DPW, not from Baltimore. Folks in senior level positions. We got the new deputy mayor or administrative person, manager of the city,
Mhm.
not from Baltimore. So when you start looking at, and again, the reason why I say it from Baltimore is because you can't with one voice say that Baltimore got great talent, we got a great school system, we got great this, we got great that, but every time it's time for someone to be promoted, we say, let's go to Philadelphia, let's go to New York.
Mhm.
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 Yeah. Yeah. I do. I understand that. And um, when we talk about, we just have to, like you said, we're going to need to start over. We're going to have to build from the ground up, because
Mhm.
we've had so many commissioners. The
I was
one
trying to
who
count
is
how
involved in the, in the tax scandal.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to be a great fit for Baltimore. You know, like I just think that everybody is looking at the fact. Oh, they were looking at Commissioner Harris's his stats from New Orleans, but you're in Baltimore. This is like apples and oranges. You are in Baltimore. Like our murder rate and these kids committing these crimes. I can't even say for sure exactly what is going to happen, but I can tell you that it's not going to be good. I believe that this man is going to step down also because he's going to find out like nobody, they're going to tie his hands. I've never seen Commissioner Harrison walking around the city of Baltimore. Every event and I'm an activist, every event that I've seen him at, he's been sitting there with Brandon Scott or Ivan Bates with all these scripted questions. The questions that the people of Baltimore that we have, they will not allow us to ask our questions because they won't be scripted. You're not going to tell me what's on my heart. I'm from Baltimore, born here, raised here. You're not going to tell me what's on my heart. You can't sit there, you and PJ Smith and all of these other people, and write some questions down and pretend that those questions are the burning questions of the people who live in the city of Baltimore. They are not. They are not. They're giving these people all of this wiggle room. They don't deserve wiggle room. You are getting that salary. Do your damn job. Point blank, period.
I need to walk the streets with you whenever you ready. Let's do it because you're right on point when it comes to that. When you look at let's even talk about the curfew. I said it when they tried to do this before. The curfew will not work. Period. It's not the good kids out there that's violating or breaking the law or doing anything like that. So if I'm a knucklehead and I'm out there doing whatever I want to do you think by telling me I got to be in the house by 9 o'clock, I'm gonna obey it?
Automatically. We're going in the house at 9.
I'm sorry, you got a van coming for me. I'll wait. So it's not, those things don't work. What does work is we know that the same knuckleheads are on the same corners every single day, but yet we don't go address it on those corners. We know that the same avenues, whether it's the right there, everybody know from Baltimore, Pennsylvania and North. We know right there you got drugs being sold, you got prostitution right there, but yet we pull our cars up, whether it's MTA or BPD, put our little lights on, and we think that what happens? They still stay right there.
They do whatever they're doing. They continue to do it.
Yep.
So the fix that we should do when it comes to my recommendation, and I'm not law enforcement, I get it. I have many friends in that field, and it's not me. But the fix is you take those same vans that you are going to pick up kids and take them home. Because a lot of them, let's be real, you can take them home, but some of the parents are not home. So they might go in the house, but they're going to come right back out when you go up the street. So you take them same vans, you get some folks that are grassroots organizations, the Yolanda Pulleys and the Andrew Muhammad's, We Are Us, and you get all them guys in those vans, go to those corners and set up shop for a couple of weeks, and that's how you address it. Start addressing it one child at a time, one corner at a time. I said when I campaigned, the way you fix Baltimore is one block, one house, one community at a time. If you approach it that way and not looking at it as a holistic approach, then that's how you start making some impressions and indents in Baltimore City. You got a lot of folks in Baltimore City that are passionate, that love the city, love the community. I'll be one of them. At some point, Dr. LadyJ, I shared with you. At one point, I was ready just to pack up the truck, put a little U-Haul trailer on the back of it and go. And the only reason why I didn't is because I do still have that passion, that love for Baltimore. Right. But to your point, Joyce, nothing's going to happen until we hold folks accountable, until we start electing the right folks and start electing folks that are going to be policy changes and not electing folks based off of popularity.
Absolutely. When Brandon Scott got elected, Dr. J, I'm going to let this is.
Go ahead.
Okay. So Dr. E is on also. And
Dr. E.
Exactly. Yes. Okay. So when Brandon Scott got elected, I was so upset. Not because he got elected, but because you have all these young people. Oh, Baltimore has a lit mayor. Lit where? And for what purpose? Brandon Scott needs to go also. And I'm gonna absolutely be honest. This is my personal opinion. I was a Brandon Scott fan because I was like, okay, let's do this. Come on, we got this young, innovative guy. Let's do something. Brandon Scott knows for a fact his behind wasn't running around out in these streets. And you bring all of these young people, they can't read. You got young men standing behind you, they nodding out. Like, come on, Brandon Scott, come on. Like, don't do that. Don't sit there and try to act like you're trying to help these young people. Number one, you're not going to help them with a recreation center. I do not want to hear that again. Get these young people some education. I don't want to hear anything about a rec. I don't want to hear anything about a swimming pool. Don't get your ass in no pool unless you can read. Point blank, period. Don't swim if you can't read, because you're not going to be able to read that sign that says follow the lifeguard's instructions, do whatever you're supposed to do. These recs, what are you going to do? Are they teaching reading skills in the recs? They are not. I'm just tired of hearing about it. The commissioner's always talking about, oh, they need an outlet. Please, parents, get your children. Get your children. If you have a drug problem, get you some help. There's help out there. If you can't read, then it's going to be a generational curse. Your kids aren't going to be able to read. That we need to start there too. Let's get these kids educated, because they feel like I don't have a way to make a viable income, so I have to sell drugs. Like, a lot of it is. I read something the other day and it broke my heart. 77% of the high school graduates at Patterson High School right in Baltimore City, they cannot read. They're reading on an elementary school level. What is going on? Like, come on now. At some point, the wheels have to start turning. Like, all of this is related. The poverty, drugs, there's a correlation. And we have to do something about that. And then maybe we'll get to the point where one of these young men or young women, they can be talked into, okay, so I'm going to do something to better myself. I'm not going to, walk around Baltimore City and it's just this bang, 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 bang all day long in the broad daylight. We're hearing, there was a shooting here. There was a shooting there. They are not afraid. So what's going to be the deterrent for them? And it's not putting these parents in jail. Hold these kids accountable. Hold the commissioner accountable. Hold the mayor accountable. Everybody has to stand in their rightful position. You were elected, then you do what the ham sandwich you are supposed to do. Because if you don't, then you just got to go. I wish they would start letting citizens fire people. I would fire Brandon Scott. Well, she's already stepping down. That Munzie lady. I would fire everybody from Safe Streets. You get no money from Baltimore City. I'm gonna be I would just say, everybody, just pack up. Administrative assistants, everybody, go. See you later.
But when you look at it, and I say this, and folks, roll their eyes at me and get mad. When you're paying a police commissioner $200,000 a year, when you're paying the CEO, superintendent of schools $400,000 a year,
absolutely,
but you still have, I got blasted for saying she needed to go. Oh, well, she's a sister and all this. Look, we beyond that black white thing.
Right.
My son got to read. I'm not worried if it's a black person or a white person teaching them. But my issue is I'm paying someone $400,000 a year to lead my school system, but yet I still am talking about no heat and air conditioning in schools 10 years later.
How long have we been talking about?
I'm still listening to teachers talk about they don't have chalk and erasers and material for their classrooms, and that they got to go out of their own pocket and pay
And they're
for it.
going in their own
So
pockets. Yeah.
we, again, when you start looking at, the accountability piece, you're right. And we've all, I think, are in agreement with that. Everyone needs to go. Start
Absolutely.
over from scratch. And when you start looking at getting to the root cause of it, and you start looking at the systems that we have in place, they're broken or they're corrupt. You got folks that get in there that they're about them and not us anymore. You get folks that make promises on campaign trails that I'm going to do this. I keep reminding folks something about Brandon. And I was all supporting, I'm one of them type of people. I'm not a sourpuss. If I didn't win or I dropped out of a race or whatever the case may be, if my heart is for Baltimore, I should be rallied behind who's the new elected official.
And
But it
that's what
only
we did.
for me, when folks tell you who they are and show you who they are, then we should believe them. It only took me a short while to really see. I keep reminding folks, Brandon was the chair of the Public Safety Committee when he was in City Council. So he had influence when it came to the public safety and policing and all of that. So what changed from you being the chair of the Public Safety Committee to now you're the mayor? And you said you're talking about recreation centers. You're putting all this emphasis on recreation centers about basketball courts and all that. We don't even have nets or basketballs.
Right. Right. And who are just, and once again, these kids that are shooting and killing, they ain't coming to no damn wreck. For what? For what?
And I'm sorry.
Centers
I'm
they
sorry.
when I was a child. We went to Robert C. Marshall on Pennsylvania Avenue. We went there. We couldn't go unless we wore a sweater and all this stuff. My parents were very, very strict, but we absolutely the rec center is not going to solve the crime crisis in Baltimore. A swimming pool.
I said in Park Heights. I know I gotta get ready to go. I said in Park Heights, don't focus on recreation centers. Put those resources and that money into after school programs that we have when you already have some of the resources there.
Tutoring.
We did a study about 4 or 5 years ago, and I think Sheila Dixon might even have some insight to that. We did a study with teachers saying that they don't mind volunteering, coming in after school, helping with tutoring, if it's anything like that. And so I know one of the concerns was, oh, well, we don't have the money to pay teachers. You do have some committed educators out there who will say, you know what, you don't have to pay me, but at least give me the resources. If I'm volunteering my time, at least give me a book and some chalk, right? But I wanted to chime in. I apologize. My flight, I just got a little a ding on my phone, but I do appreciate it. I'm sorry I got to run. I love you, Queens. I appreciate you. I know Dr. E got on here. Dr. E, I love you too, bro. So I do got to run and catch a flight, but
we'll talk. Be safe though.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
All right. Take care.
Have a good one.
All right. Everybody, that was Ricky Vaughn. He actually ran for mayor and delegate here. We got, listen, this sister right here, I love her. If y'all don't watch her commentary, this is Dorothy O'Bannon. Oh my goodness. Like, y'all, she goes in. I'll be up and I normally watch her at nighttime. I watch the replays. But Dorothy, thank you for coming on. If it's anybody else that's watching, you can come on. You can send me a text 443-297-4753, and I will text you this link, just like you saw Dorothy pop on. I'll text you the link. You can pop on and say you're talking about our city and what's going in our city, or you can call in. For those of you who are listening on the radio, it's 443-297-4753, 443-297-4753, because I am very concerned. And this is the question I want to ask both of you and Dorothy also, because I know you all heard the press conference. Did you hear how they were saying like the crime has dropped, significantly, numbers have dropped? Now I'm gonna tell y'all something. Every night that I sit here and do this show, or I'm, while y'all doing your shows, Joyce, they shooting out here all the time. And I'm saying somebody got shot. They not out here just like shooting, sitting
Absolutely.
in the I hear people out here screaming, cussing, and fussing. I don't even live in a bad neighborhood. This is earlier today. They were out here shooting. Sometimes I'll be sitting on the porch and they out here shooting, and I have to grab my dog and run back in the house to make sure that we don't get hurt. So I'm sitting here thinking like, okay, is it just my neighborhood that they still shooting in, or or is it other? Because they were saying today that the crime has dropped. So I said, well, let me ask my guests when they come on, because
Yes.
shooting and killing over here.
I'm gonna let Dorothy. I'm just gonna say one thing. That is an absolute damn lie. Go ahead, Dorothy. That's an absolute lie.
And I totally agree with you.
I'm sorry, I had to say it like that. That is a complete fabrication. The biggest lie the devil ever told.
Yeah.
You want to stand up there, hey, the crowd. Where?
It's a form of propaganda. That's what it is. So you gotta remember, next year is the election year.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're gonna play a lot of propaganda in terms of the successes, what they deem success, right? And when it comes to statistics, they definitely gonna drop those numbers. And two, think about it this way: the commission just resigned, right? And he's resigning on a good note too, because those statistics is going to follow his record,
exactly,
as if the lies they tell.
You know what I'm saying? So it's all, I think it's all politics and propaganda myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
The gentleman that just got off of here, he was so on point with so many things. There's a lot of teachers that's concerned. We do still have a lot of good teachers out here, and they're young teachers coming into the system and trying to bear the burden across the administration and the higher ups are putting on them. If you notice, when the commissioner yesterday, when he was being questioned by the city councilman, that city councilman, he is pissed off. Right, turned around and resigned the next day. Right, I mean, it's time, and it's good that we getting a new a person that's here in Baltimore. That's what I was looking forward to somebody that they will put in place that growed up here in Baltimore, no Baltimore people, and so I think that's a good thing. I hope they keep him, because I've been watching him on the side as the deputy commissioner for a minute now, and he seemed like he can handle this job. I haven't really looked at his record and researched it out, but I mean, he knows Baltimore, he knows people, and he knows the problems that's been here. And in terms right now, what they need to do, we still have to address crime, but what they need to do is work on recruiting more police officers. In my opinion, we got 1,000 police officers.
Yep.
At least 100. Right. Now, how do you do that? Well, I was talking about this today with a friend of mine. Right. I'm really kind of tired of them bringing people from all over the country and all the surrounding counties. They coming in here with these stereotypes in terms of Baltimore City. They believe what they had already heard on the media, so they've been
absolutely
by that. Right. We need people from Baltimore City to be police officers. And we have some semi-qualified and qualified folks that can take these positions as police officers and be trained. And people that live and grew up here in the city. Now, when I say semi potential for police officers, I'm talking about those folks that may have an old marijuana charge that's a misdemeanor. Like, they need to put something in place to knock all of that kind of stuff out of place, right? If they haven't been in any trouble, and that's what they've been held back because they have this charge or this misdemeanor on their record. Okay, do something about that. Don't let that be a limitation to them becoming an officer, because you're going to train them anyway. Right? Person an opportunity. I mean, people make mistakes, So on that note, I think they should allow those semi-potentials, as well as those that don't have any kind of criminal record at all, that they can recruit in there as police officers and stuff. And other thing, I think it's time that Baltimore have a new scared straight program.
Absolutely. I agree with that.
But
there's no deterrent. There's no deterrent.
Yeah. Because this is a healthcare, this is a health issue, violence, right? So many people's affected by it. So it has to be a format where it fits into this 21st century generation when you're dealing with X, Y, and Z. and their children.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Curses. So I'm thinking the old way back in the 70s when it came to Skin Straight, they took the kids to the prisons and all that. That could be done, but I think that they should utilize the mothers that have lost children and fathers and caregivers and brothers and sisters, siblings that have lost their brothers and sisters to come into a room. This how the format could be set up that these
I can't wait to tell you about. I can't wait to tell you about an event.
And each of them tell their testimony of who these people were, because they're not numbers.
Mm-hmm.
No, they're people.
That's right.
That's attached to other people's lives and attached more importantly to a community and how devastating it's been to the community and traumatizing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Also should be included in that program, because we have to deal. This is a psychological warfare before. Well, first it's spiritual. So spiritual warfare first, right? And then it's a psychological warfare. And so I say deal with the cycle. These kids are out here putting guns in people's faces. This is not the first time that they didn't put a gun in somebody's face. We don't know if they ever shot somebody or they've killed somebody and got away with it. Right? A lot of juveniles that's repeat offenders. Right now, in my day, right, when I was a juvenile, they dealt with us. They held us accountable. And for some of us, it changed our lives when we were young. Right? We didn't have if our record was it was one of those records that was to the extremes and we was a threat to society, we went away for a minute and we got treatment while we was away.
Right.
And so Baltimore got to get off of this. You know, I love the youth. I love them.
Me too.
Right? But we got to face the reality that we're dealing with a lot of trauma. We don't know what we're dealing with in terms of psychopaths,
mental health,
ADHD, bipolarness, mental illness, everything that comes with that, right? And so if you got these people that's institutionalized to keep repeating violent offenses, and you keep letting them go, and you're not allowing them to be accountable for that. You're sending the message that we can do what we want to do, and that's exactly why these kids is out here doing what they're doing. They need discipline,
right?
And the Islamic community, they need to bring them back, because one time Baltimore did use them. They had some kind of contract where they used the Islamic community, right, to come in and intervene and mediate with some of the folks in the streets and stuff. They need to bring that back, right? Because the one thing I can say about that organization, right, they have been good in helping to clean up some of the folks that was out there on the other side of history, and showing them what discipline is. And that's what we need. We need somebody that knows about discipline, that can teach them. That they're a good teacher of discipline. Not to say that on the Christian side, we haven't had any kind of Christian black churches or what have you. In the marginalized community, they haven't taught discipline, but it's just working on that side, because too much is going on over there on the Christian side. Especially with the Catholic Church and them just upholding and holding all these secrets, and not, they don't even hold their own people accountable for some of the damage that they've done as it relates to the molestation.
Right, that's a whole other show.
We got to be one of those shows too, because that is the honest truth. That is so true. And I wanted to just say hi to, we have somebody on here from Chicago.
Thank you
so much for watching us. And this person said, I hear about the crime in Baltimore here in Chicago.
Yes. I just wanted to say that while you were speaking, Miss Dorothy, my church, New Unity Baptist Church, is having an event on June 24th at the Downtown Cultural Arts Center, From Pain to Purpose. It's a symposium, and we have invited mothers, fathers, brothers and sisters, everybody in the community to come together. They're going to be psychologists and doctors and everybody who's going to come together, and we're going to try to add some kind of spiritual aspect, not so much political, but just bring people together. Because as you said, there are moms and dads and sisters and brothers. There are parents out here who've lost 3 children to violence. I've read about it. It is just, and it's a free event. We want everybody to come out because there has to be some sort of recourse. So you, on one hand, you have people who've lost children. And then on the other hand, you have these kids out here who have killed somebody. I'm trying to figure out a way, and I just need all the prayer I can get. Because if you're, just say son number 1 is killed on this side of the family, and then you got this son over here who has done that killing, and they done nothing to arrest this person or to, these parents, they share agony and pain. When it just touches me when I see people in courtrooms, 2 moms on the opposite side, and they're saying we need to come together, because if we don't do something, we're going to have this happening all the time. Like Dr. J says, she's hearing guns, and she's not the only one. I hear gunshots in my neighborhood. I am, I'm not going to blame Pennsylvania Avenue. And Ricky's right. Like, it is the highway to heroin, fentanyl. That's what these experts are saying. But what are we going to do? How are we going to bring some, where do we get to the point that we're holding parents accountable in love? Your child killed somebody. Don't say my son is innocent. You are a liar. If
the system gonna have to, when I say the system, I'm talking about the people who work for the system that want change.
Right.
And we got people in the criminal justice system that's because the system is collapsing. Anyway, the very thing that we pray for is happening, but we're not saying it in the way that we prayed it would happen. And we thought it was going to be an easy ride. No, this is going to be a rough ride, right? So that means that everybody has to be held accountable. The community, the woman sitting on the porch that's saying things
and right? Not saying anything,
and nothing. The parents that's not that that's I don't want to blame parents. Because I learned from doing community work and I thought that in my mind, at 40-something years old back in the day, right? I thought that everybody grew up with the same values and principles as it related to how to
Absolutely not.
Absolutely. We literally have folks out here that really don't know how to parent children.
They don't know how. So they didn't learn. It's a generational curse.
It's hard for them to learn when some of the parents are like 14 and 15 years old. Some of these people I talked to, the one girl I talked to was 12 having a baby. And then she turned around and had another one at 14. So when you have all of this going on, and this is my other thing, because I said sometimes I feel like while we sleeping, that they going around dropping fentanyl and all kinds of stuff from the sky, because people in the city act like they just don't even see what's going on. How can you have so many children dying and nobody's on the street? There's no outcry.
There's nobody on this planet right now that you can tell me that you can't see something that's happening. The problem is, you know how they say meet people where they are, and then you have to empower those people. Right? And then many of us claim faith, whether whatever religion, and then in most of these faiths, if we just stand on the love part, and the love represents that when God deals with us in our mess, we forget that we in mess too.
Right.
Deal with. All the missionaries out there, the boots to the ground folks that's trying to help. We got our own demon, but we a lot of times we ignore ourselves to go help other people, because we know from doing the work for so long that as we go to help heal somebody, we become whole ourselves by doing the act of it, because it's an act of giving, it's an act of compassion and love.
Absolutely.
And so, like the same way, God don't judge us when we come in His presence.
Mm-hmm.
Right? When He chooses us, he don't come to us and say, "Well, I'm not gonna pick you or choose you because your hair look like this, or you live in this neighborhood, or you make this amount of money, or you on welfare," and all that kind of stuff.
And you're
God
absolutely
made us
right.
what we are.
That's right. You're
He don't
absolutely
care if
right.
you got a
That's why the
Jesus
Bible
or
says, come as you are. And those are the people that we need in the church. If somebody comes in that church, they can be high as ever. But if they're conscious enough to receive that word, that's what's going to stick with them. That's what I don't believe in throwing Bibles down young people's throat. I just don't. I just don't. We have to find something, and stop being so judgmental. We have to find something that's going to. Did you hear the young man this morning when he was praying, Dr. Jenkins? Did you hear that young man when he was praying and he said to all my hip hoppers and it touched me. Oh my God. He said to all my hip hoppers and my rappers who love the Lord, he said, you better get it together because you blind to the fact. You blind to the fact this, you blind to the fact that. And I'm like, oh my goodness. What? Just, where he was coming from, you could tell it was coming from here. It was coming from here. And he was saying it, that's how you get young people. You can't, first of all, how they going to know a hymn if they've never opened a hymn book? You better come up with some kind of song, even if it's not a gospel song, that's going to reach these, and they cannot blame it on this music. I am a lover. I have a lot of nephews. I am a lover of rap music. I like gospel. I like jazz, like every genre of music. I like country. I am not gonna, even me at 60 years old, I'm not gonna have you throwing the Bible down. I love the Lord, but you're not gonna oh, you're doing this wrong and you're doing that wrong and you shouldn't be doing this. How are we going to get these young people off the streets and pull them in? If let me tell you something, I hear them I'm not dealing with that. But it's presentation. You have to present it in a way that they can grab it, they can snatch it, and they'll be like, oh yeah, man. When that young man was praying this morning, I was like, and that's from, you all know that song, You're Blind to the Fact. You're blind, baby, you blind. And the way he related that to prayer, that correlation, I was like in this house, clapping it up for him.
These hip hoppers of the day that comes out of our generation of hip hop, and hip hop has expanded and evolved, with the drill and the trap music. It's a poetic justice for real, right? It's spoken word. It's poetry.
Absolutely.
And stories, but what we're hoping is that the narrative can go into the uplifting, the motivation, and the encouragement in the words, in the spelling words of what they're speaking.
Right, absolutely. You have to be able to spell, to write down your thoughts. You can record them, but you need to write it down so that they learn this. These are my thoughts. These are my words. I need to get a copyright so nobody can, steal my stuff, but if you got it, you just, okay, chapter this and Psalm this and this and that. And that's not.
This is the thing too. Now we talk about churches, right? And y'all know I listen, I don't have no cut card when it comes to pastors because they're not doing their job. They're not doing their job. And so you can come into the community and preach all day, park your cars and everything. How are you helping the community by just coming in, preaching a word to your parishioners, and then everybody get back in their cars and go home?
Right.
I don't see, maybe it's just me. Again, maybe where I live at, maybe I'm just missing some stuff, but I'll be out there. I don't see a lot of pastors out here saying, let's walk the streets. Let's go in this neighborhood. Let's go feed the homeless over here.
They don't preach.
Don't see it.
We can't, you know what, Doc? We can't really blame it all on the pastors because you have these parishioners in these churches, and they're the ones who are afraid. You mentioned certain streets around them and they tighten up.
But Joy, I got you on that one. But here's the thing, and this is why I don't cut them pastors no slack. I don't cut them no slack because the parishioners can say, "I don't want to go all I want." You say
you have a duty to go.
You say you've been called to be a pastor. Get your behind out there.
That's
and
right.
do the work. You're
we
getting
got,
paid.
we got a police force. If you feel that threatened by the community that you preaching, then you can call the police and guide you right through the community. That's incident.
Yes. Miss Sharon Black with the PPA, when Joyce and all of them go out in March, they got a caravan, police following them. If they can do it, the pastors can do it. But
oftentimes we don't even have police, Dr. J. We're out here. We are out here. You can't be afraid to, if everybody is silent about what's going on in Baltimore, what's going to happen to Baltimore? You know, everybody's going to just, I'm moving to the county. So what? It's not going to be any better. The state of Maryland is in crisis. They're always saying a city in crisis. No, this is a state in crisis because everybody wants to say, nothing happens in Towson and nothing happens in this place.
If this was for the most part white children, there would be an urgency. Money would be pulled from out the yin yang, right?
Absolutely.
Service those young people that's out there. I'm saying if it was at the level where white folks were killing each other at the rate that African Americans are killing each other out here in the streets, there would be an urgency in the white community, and it will come to an end immediately.
Just like when the heroin crisis was going on.
Whoever they have to keep their culture from dying.
Right. But we should feel that same way.
To us, it's not an urgency. That's why I said we need.
But it should be. It should be. I was reading a sign this morning and I was like, wow, people have forgotten. Like Black lives should matter to Black people. You running around here, you're killing this person, you're killing somebody's son, you are actually killing your brothers and your sisters.
And a family.
Yeah. And let me tell you, that's part of the strategy. This is why I say we need a new skin straightening, which also should be connected to that. Right? It's your doctors from your trauma centers to come in the room with these young people. They need toys and make them look at a dead body.
Yeah, they need to see the holes in the body, the stab wounds. They need to see what pills and alcohol and combination does to the body.
No.
Right into their bodies and stuff. They need to be up close, and our kids are ready for this. I mean, these kids are growing up seeing bodies laying all over the place.
They are. If a 6-year-old,
this is why they're traumatized, because they see death every single day. And I keep saying that the children's friends, family, loved ones, they at school, they got to be scared. They are traumatized. And we expect these children to still react normally, to go to school and learn, to be good when they come outside.
I mean, think about this. If a child was raped last night by I'm gonna say
uncle or a mother's boyfriend, anybody.
Because at my OBGYN, I had asked her, would she help me out in the community with getting information out there about, up here in Zone 15, because Zone 15 is a high rate for HIV.
It is. 21217. 21217, Dorothy. 17 to 24 years old.
Yes.
Yeah.
And hold up, you're not even talking about the women our age. I'm almost 60. Right, so you got women that's new HIV cases from dealing from back in the decade. We're talking about a virus that lies dormant in
the body, and then it shows itself.
You understand? And when you talk about these young men going down here, you got brothers now. You got brothers now that this is a goal with. I got him to do this to me while I was in jail. And some of these murders out here is about that.
Yeah.
And so some of these kids is been raped up in jail.
Yep.
And infected in jail. You understand what I'm saying? And we're pretending like this don't even exist in our.
It's a vicious circle.
I see it all the time. I go in and out of these detention centers, and our young people are being beat up. They're being molested. I mean, they're being raped. They are being almost tortured. And I'm not saying that lightly.
Right.
And I see it with my
It's a reality.
You know, we outnumber men. How many of us to them? They the smallest population amongst us women, females, right? Yet,
especially in Baltimore. Yeah,
we have to really. We got to be more vigilant. Our community. I think in our community, people are just so tired and so broken and so worn out from not being heard. People are not.
I agree.
Communities like they used to, and people are and people are struggling. People trying to pay their bills.
Yes.
Find a store to go buy some food. It's so much going on in the city, and I want to ask both of you, because in my opinion, my answer is no. But I want to get your opinion. Do you really think that anybody can turn this city around? Or better question is, do you think that the people in power, our elected officials, really want things to turn around? Because my answer is no to both of them.
Okay, so my answer.
Yes,
we hear it. My answer, Dr. Jenkins, is twofold. First of all, just like Ricky said, they have to have a vested interest in Baltimore. And even if they aren't from here, they have to be locked and loaded for Baltimore. I'm not talking about a gun. I'm talking about, like, I'm repping Baltimore. I'm not from here, but I'm repping Baltimore all the way, 24/7. Baltimore, Baltimore, Baltimore. If you don't care about Baltimore, don't bring your ass here talking about being in any kind of position. I just pray, Doc, that there is somebody who can do that, because every time I think about it, I'm like, what the ham sandwich is going on with this city?
Let me say this. I've seen police officers, right? Real community police officers, where they should have locked up certain individuals, and they let them go.
I've seen it too.
Yeah. Right. So I just wanted to put that out there, because I don't want, because of the atrocity that has happened over the decades in Baltimore City Police Department.
And it's still happening.
This new commissioner is coming in. He said he's going to continue the cycle and trying to help and do some things and keep some things in place to work with people and get to know people, build relationships with people. So I'm glad he's on that same horse.
But did you hear what else he said? I heard this. Let me tell you.
They got to do their job.
Let me tell you. He said he was specifically working under the tutelage of Commissioner Harrison. Okay. So what are you going to do? You're going to come in there and continue that. And then soon, a couple of years down the road, you're going to step down also. I believe that Commissioner Harris has had a job offer for more than a year. I believe that he knew that he was leaving. He knew that this day was coming. He was not fully vested in Baltimore.
Oh, well, he came up in the ranks in New Orleans back when it was one of the most corrupt police forces in the country. Right. And he's also a part of some kind of national police thing too.
Yeah.
Right.
They were, his accomplishments and this and that. And I hear the crime rate was much lower in New Orleans than here in Baltimore. But you're talking apples and oranges. Like, sir, so when does that, the new commissioner, when does he take office?
I guess
I think they should, but Brandon Scott's not going to do it. I think they should reject him
But
and
he
being the new commissioner.
still has to be
man-
voted in though. But
He does? Okay.
like,
So
you
it's
know,
not a done deal.
he's an interim, but remember Brandon said this would
True.
be his choice. Brandon said he would be my choice, but they still got to make a final decision about allowing him to be in that position. And I think that they should think, I don't know anything about this man, I never heard of him, but I think they should think long and hard about the future of Baltimore, about our kids in Baltimore
Absolutely.
City, and
Absolutely.
make sure
Out here killing each other.
person in place. These people are making a lot of money.
Right.
And a lot of kids have died on their watch.
Absolutely. And they're touting this crap about the crime rate is lower under him. That is not true. Stop saying that. Nobody wants to just come out and say this is the real deal for Baltimore. We come on down. Come on now. Just tell the truth. If everybody, and they don't report every killing. They do not. Exactly. They do not. So I know about killing that took place. You know, I won't even say the area of town. It wasn't on the news. They didn't report it. They didn't report it. That's because, I don't know if they're afraid that it'll start hysteria. We're already hysterical. So, there's nothing that, we know when I get up in the morning, I'm like, nope, got to turn on some music because I don't want to watch the news. Mm-hmm. And people talk about Fox 45 and McKinsey and all of these, but, and Brandon Scott, by the way, he's going to be very instrumental in her getting an Emmy for reporting because he's very disrespectful to her. And he's also like any other reporter, I knew you were going to do that. You're from Fox, blah, blah, blah. Stop acting like Donald Trump. They're asking the questions. They're trying to hold him accountable. I didn't watch all of it, Doc, but I bet you he didn't. He answered some questions. Go ahead.
Baltimore City and its politics is a strange bird.
Mm-hmm.
It is a very strange bird, right? And like with the commissioner, right, and all the commissioners, you remember back when Bates, after Freddie Gray, then Bates got fired. Or what, he resigned or did he get fired? When Stephanie was in office.
The commissioner, what was his name?
Commissioner Bates. That was the bald head one. That was the one she told him to hold the line. And she did the right thing.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Well, they were telling them to stand down and don't shoot black children.
Yeah.
I think they should have.
But then
I think they should have.
He stepped down.
I don't know his name though. I don't know his name. Doc will find
Bates, isn't it? Yeah. In the Bates, Commissioner Bates.
What was his first name?
Oh my God, I can't think of his first name.
I know. Is it
African American?
Yes. He's now.
Wow, I'm trying to remember. Well, okay, and so. We're talking about, the resignation and what's going on in City Hall. And so in order to talk about those things, we have to be realistic. We just have to get down and dirty. Nobody just staying in the confines of their home. They're not going to be instrumental to helping this thing to, we gotta speak truth to power. Brandon Scott.
Let me say,
have you seen what's his name, Doc?
Anthony Batts. That was his name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I want to say, you got to remember that the man has a lot of power, and to me, right, he played the dominant force on the chessboard as it related to the police commission because he got the power to fire him. The man got the power to hire and fire, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the city is trying to get in control. It's not even a state agency no more, is it? Ain't the city now in control of Baltimore City Police Department? Or is that's coming?
Oh, that hasn't materialized yet, but I just don't think.
So that means that this will put the mayor and city council in a real extreme powerful position. Right, and they and I know they're gonna be at odds with the FOP because they have their own agenda as it relates to how Baltimore City should be police.
Right.
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 This agenda and how the police department should be police. Right. And this is why this Republican governor, right, that just left Hogan, right? You notice he always was like, he's like, I can't make no moves on this chessboard until, I expect what they're going to do down there in Baltimore City. He stayed out of Baltimore City business.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
it wasn't anything he could do. He couldn't do anything. He couldn't do anything.
I could have been a Donald Trump and superseded some stuff if he truly wanted to, especially as it related to the National Guards.
Well, then he stepped in and he did say, hey, let's pull this in, let's pull these reins, because we got to get some order down in Baltimore. Yeah.
But he wasn't getting any support from the people at City Hall. That was the thing. I guess he just said, forget it, And again, if we don't start getting out on these streets, like when People's Power Assembly goes out, I watch y'all all the time. And I had told you, I'm not coming out there no more because I'm sick and tired of coming out and, walking the streets and you got about 5 or 10 people walking with you. And you're out there walking for somebody else's son or daughter that was murdered.
Right.
You're walking out there for the school system, for a broken school system, but ain't nobody walking with you. Your children are grown,
Right.
And so it just got to the point for me where I was out there so much that I'm like, and then going from this meeting to that meeting, I just got to the point where I said, I can't do it anymore because it was affecting me. Because I'm like, where are the people at? Why y'all not here?
I understand. Let me tell you, Doc.
Are neutralized.
Let me tell you.
They're neutralized.
Every morning I get up and you know what I say? This is it. And I don't be saying no lump this. I be saying the other thing, But guess what? By the time I get to my car, I'm like, let's go. Let's do this. Let's go. Let's get it done. It's like it's just, I don't know. Ever since I was 16 years old, I told somebody the other day, I said, I wish I had run away like, the leader of the PPA. I would have went with the poor people's campaign, but my father would not let me. But I've always wanted to be out there, like for my people everywhere, singing their slave songs repeatedly. But we have to be for each other, and I get it, Doc. I'm telling you, I get it.
All we need is one great event that can happen. That is going.
We need to show up at City Hall.
No, that's not it.
Why? Help me out here, Miss Dorothy. Go ahead.
No, protest is not going to do it no more. That's what they want you to do. The only way now to get the attention that we need is we need to stop this wheel, right? And we do that through our economics. And saying that, I need to elaborate that has to be broken down and dissected so the people can understand that you really are sitting on a gold mine. And it's interesting that white folks know this, right? But black folks don't know.
Yes.
I
said this last night on the show. Yes.
I don't give a damn if you're you're sitting on some kind of something, right, that can shut the system down. Right. And the sacrifice would be, right, a threat
to your life into a system that does not pour into you.
Right. So I've been saying it since before this pandemic, before Freddie Gray. I said we need to boycott, right? And one way that we can do it, because we have no where are we going?
We can still protest. We can still protest. I just don't want to stop. Like
all you doing is listen. All you're doing is getting out there in the street, bubbling up traffic. You're not doing anything. You're not moving the needle. You're not doing anything.
We can stop traffic.
You know what? And I was talking to some younger people, and that's what I was about to say, what she just said. I was talking to some younger people, and they told me, one young man, he said, Dr. J, look, all that Martin Luther King marching, he was like, we don't need to do that. We need to do something else. And young people don't want to be out here marching and protesting.
I'm telling you, it is. You need to get these people in the pocketbook. Everybody's always.
I know that. I'm telling. That's the only language they understand. If you hit them in their pocket, and you gotta hit them hard. You can't. You gotta hit them hard. Everybody gotta punch their ass at the same time.
It would take organization, right?
Absolutely.
Martin Luther King did not organize a boycott by himself.
Right.
One man.
You know, Bill Gooden says that all the time. Doc Cheatham.
There was an NAACP right there that was right on his hip. There were women and men in the community. It's like, yeah, let's do this. Right. And it got down to, I mean, think about this. He could have danger in the boycotting for them. Right. People still had to go to work.
Yes.
Right. And some of these folks down deeper south had to go through Ku Klux Klan territory where they were down there lynching black men, women, and children.
That's right.
So okay, well,
united we stand, divided we fall, and that's it. That's it. You know, if we unite, the People's Power Assembly says this all the time. The people united can never be divided. We have to be, you know, like some of the Martin Luther King stuff. Yes, we got to do it. We got to lock arms. Like you're not going to get away with this. If we get it in our mind.
Sister, listen to me. And this is now no disrespect to black men. Right, at all in our community.
Okay, please don't, Miss Duffy, please don't.
Right, but listen to me. The black woman controls the economy in her entire community. Do you hear what I'm saying?
Yep.
She controls the economy in her community. If she pulled back her money, this entire system was shut down. Do you understand what I'm saying here? That's without black men that works.
Right.
She's everywhere. She's in school. She's on every plantation of work out here. Right? The sacrifice, right, is to pull back.
But
I'm not doing a damn thing until you do what you need to do and give us the attention that we need addressed it in our community. It is our children. It is the black woman's children that's dying out here in the street. It's the black woman's children that's killing people out here in the street.
I understand, but they have fathers also. And I wish we could turn that in a different direction. I wish we could get these fathers out here to, you know, represent. Come on. There has to be a father in order for that child to be born. I just wish we could turn that in.
When you look at Baltimore City, when you look at our city, and you look at the fact, like by the time a lot of these kids are 16, they already have a record. They got a felony on their record. So it's hard for them to get a job. Then you start seeing them as they get older standing on the corner because they cannot find a job. That's why we were down in Annapolis fighting, because
it is a vicious cycle. Yes.
They stay on their records so long that they cannot get them off, and they can't even get a decent job. That's why we were down there fighting. And so, you know, what I've seen a lot with our black men is that they just check out. They check out.
Yeah, I understand.
Listen to me, sisters. Wouldn't you check out too if they got you going around the back door?
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
And literally, they got
what I'm saying here.
They got their foot on your neck.
Listen to it. They rolled a red carpet out for a black woman to come through the front door. The black man still have to go around the back.
But Dorothy, they've been doing that since slavery. That's what they did in slavery. We were taught in slavery to disrespect the black man because we got to stand there and watch the white man yell and scream, cuss him out, beat him, and we got to stand there and look at it.
But so the black woman is in a powerful. Listen, she's the queen on the board. She can move on the board anywhere she want to move.
That's right. They give up. They can't get any help.
So our position as queen is to protect the king.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
And humiliating him by having him come around the back door.
Right. Emasculating.
That puts us in a position to do something about that.
Right.
You can't talk to me. Listen, let's go back to the old days in our households, right? when women was in the kitchen, if a man walked in that kitchen, what did the ladies say?
The ladies got quiet.
Yeah, exactly. When children came in the room of adults, what did the adults say back then?
Listen,
what you doing here?
You couldn't
Right.
even
grown people's business.
You can't allow business
with adults. Yeah.
Right. So in the same way, when we go in these worlds, us black women, we then rolled out the red carpet for us to come in the door and sit at the table. Right. And why do you want to talk to me, sir? No, you want to talk to my uncle?
I just gotta stand up for my brothers. We gotta turn it around, Miss Dorothy. Like somehow, some way, we gotta turn it around.
And this is why
I say the situation. Say you don't want to talk to me. You want to talk to him.
Exactly.
Because I'm not no damn minority.
That's right. That's right.
No minority, and he not either.
Right.
Now let him take over this conversation. You have a conversation and roll out the red carpet for him.
Right.
That's when something's going to happen in our community. But as long as we're complacent as black women, having this fake red carpet rolled out for us,
right?
So we can sit down at the table because we're in the room.
That's right.
Talking to white folk. We ain't gonna never solve this problem in the black family.
That's right. That's right.
And we have to step up. This is why on this station, you are not allowed to disrespect the black man. You are not.
I know that's right. I know that's right, Doc. That's right.
Terminate the show. Do what I have to do. You will not come on this platform and disrespect a black man. You can have your opinion, but when you start getting disrespectful and going overboard, that's when I shut it down. And Absolutely. Those are the types of stands that we have to take when it comes to our men, because a lot of our men are broken. They don't know how to come out of the brokenness to even get back to taking care of their children, their family. It's so many men that I've had to families that I have had to counsel because the man has committed suicide. And when we look at it, we could say, well, you know, if he had only done that or if he had only done this, they are broken. When you take a man's right away from him and you make him feel less than who he is.
Right.
It's hard for them to come back.
From that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And a lot of times, Sarah said, it's like men are, it's pride sometimes. Okay, and I understand that. I am never going to and I'm not saying, oh, I have a particular place but I know what role that I play. And I am a very strong black woman. Mm-hmm. Folks will tell you, you already know. But I want it to get to the point where we have strong black men coming out, participating in a march. You don't have to be a woman to say, hey, I'm going to go out here and I'm going to protest and I'm going to do. Stand up. Yeah. Just whatever it is you have to do to get to the front. If you got to push somebody, push until you get to the front. I'm not talking about being violent. I'm just talking about taking your rightful place as a black man.
When we have these kind of conversations right here, it's no doubt that you have to talk historically so you can understand the schematics of what's going on in terms of the black culture and the family. Because right now, there's a fierce war of the sexes in the black community, and it's totally unnecessary. Right? And they still continuing to divide us, Men is talking about their feelings, women is like man up and all this so crazy stuff. And then men is saying that you think you all this because you in this position and it's a back and forth thing. It's just so crazy. And the children is in the middle of this getting hit with the arrows.
Right.
But the crossfire of black men or black on black crime out here.
Why can't we just do it together?
Yeah, black men and black women are doing the exact same.
Thank you, babe. I see your comment. Yes.
It's gotta stop. And all I'm saying, when I bring up the fact that they roll out the red carpet for, I'm talking historically, this is what they have done. It was the purpose of why they let the black woman and they wanted to cause division in the black household. We saw
right.
I mean, back in the day in the Department of State, first of all, let's understand the history of that. That wasn't considered for black folk.
Right.
That wasn't designed for us. That was designed for the poor white farmer. Because we was up in the mix and they couldn't discriminate, we got included in that.
Right.
Then when we got included, and that's okay. Well, this is how we're going to do this, right? We going up into their household. I want to know whether or not they got a damn phone in the house, whether they got a damn TV in the goddamn house, and most importantly, of all the materialistic shit, I want to know whether they got a damn man in the goddamn.
Absolutely. And you couldn't get welfare benefits if you had a man in the house. They tore it down. They dismantled it.
How crazy is that? That I had friends. I remember my friends. Their mother would tell them, you know, social work is coming. Don't say your father lives here. Don't say your father.
Claudine is real, Doc. Claudine is real.
How funny that?
Understand me, if you will. Welfare, and statistically, we got mostly a working people, a working class people, black folk. You can't be on that system that long before you have to go because of the reforms, and the reforms was put in place because of black folk, because of white folks, because they abused the system so much. It's more of them on the system than it is us. We are more great people.
Right. I'm gonna mute my mic for a second. You ladies go ahead and talk.
So it's like, okay, we're gonna do this reform. They're gonna go to the program and they're gonna go get a job. And what those jobs were telejobs.
Yep.
Right, working at Verizon. You know, many of these people that's working in these corporate American settings now, they were former recipients of the welfare system. You understand? So we are a working class. We have a working poor class.
Right.
And let's not get that statistic tripped up. Right? But they still keep, like, on certain sides of the fence, they keep saying that black folks, that we the ones that keep getting, I look at a lot of the comments on Fox 44, they said, well, they always got their hand out for something. No, we don't. We work.
Right.
We work just as much as Mexicans work. We come from goddamn like, we built this damn country. What are you talking about?
It's people out here. I know for myself, when my son was in school, I had 3 jobs. We out here working every single day. It's a lot of people out here working and doing the right thing. But this is the thing. And everybody got to remember this. The media is going to show you what they want you to see.
Absolutely.
We ain't producing our children, right? That's like, I'm not working for these. I'm not working for Uncle Tom. I'm working for myself.
Right.
These, we're producing a generation that's thinking nothing but about entrepreneurship.
Right. And you don't see them exposing our children and the great things that they're doing. But as soon as this clink, they
right. Absolutely. Wow. Somebody made the comment that you can add your man to your benefits.
Oh, yeah. Wow. And my house times have changed. Because listen, we talking about the 70s not that long ago. That wasn't that long ago that you couldn't have your man in your house. Because if you did, you would lose your benefit.
Now you can add him to your caseload. Wow.
You know, so it's like the way that they control the narrative
COVID
community.
COVID policy or something. I'm gonna have to call up somebody I know that works for social service. I want to see about that. Under what circumstances is a man added to
because he's a member of the household. He in there eating your food and not working. I've seen it. I've heard about it also.
Because I've seen that with a couple of people. I don't know how they did it, you know, if they did it the right way, but I know that the man is on the benefits. So, you know, but again, when you look at this, how
long that's been going on?
I think that's been going on for a long, or either, Miss Dorothy, they'll have their own pendants card. She said he's a member of your household, and that's the truth. Like, you're counting how many adults do you have in your household? How many children do you have in your household? Does that person have any income? No, they don't have any income. Bam, they're on there.
They're on there. And again, so now we're doing it this way.
That's for food stamps, right? Or is that for the check too?
No, it's for food stamps.
Okay.
Yeah, because no grown man. But there are grown men who get temporary cash assistance.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Wow.
I think in our city, you know, these conversations need to be had on a higher level from our elected officials.
Right.
To listen, to get back into the community and really understand what people are going through
on a day-to-day basis, Doc. That's right.
And then you'll be able to manage the city a lot more better. But like today, what I didn't like with that press conference today, they laughing and joking and kiki and hot. We ain't got time for that.
It's not funny. What's funny? Yeah, I need to know. There is no humor in the commissioner of Baltimore City resigning. He has another job. He didn't say anything about what he's gonna do. You know why? That's strategic. They don't want us to know. They don't want us to know.
This time he said he was resigning because he has not been able to spend time with his family.
No. Why does everybody say that?
You got to spend time at home.
Well,
and
hold up. Let's be fair here. When you're making that kind of money, what is it? 200 and what?
245,000.
You know,
somebody say his pension was $275,000, which he's gonna get.
He's gonna get his pension, right?
Yeah, and now
I don't think he should get it. I don't think he should get it. But that, once again, it's that contract. It's ironclad. They agreed to it. The city officials agreed to it. But you can't stop us from getting these high ass water bills. That's why I think we should storm City Hall.
The water bill, the electric bill. But let me tell you this: these people come into our city, they get them ironclad contracts, and they get their money and they go.
That's it, Doc. Jackpot.
We're still sitting here with the same mess going on day after day, and they go somewhere chilling, cruising, like he said, spending time with his family. But you got your money, you got your
So when he got the job, did he know that at some point I'm gonna have to spend time with my family? How are you not? Is his family in Baltimore, or did they stay in New Orleans?
In Louisiana. They're in New Orleans. And
okay. So if you're you repping Baltimore and you are you want to be in Baltimore, your job is here, bring your wife, bring your children. Why didn't you bring them here? I don't understand that.
His wife is here, but he's saying his other family members. He said he's missed dinners. He's, missed other events and stuff because he's been, working as a police commissioner. So now,
what is he doing? Because the killing's still going on. Like the hard work that he's saying that he put in. Oh, she said they need someone strong in that place. Yeah, I do know her, and her son was murdered, and they still don't know who killed her son. People are on a daily basis. They're dying. It's these young people. They still have this bang, 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 shoot them up. I'm gonna get a gun. We used to fight each other. Okay, we used to fight. And then we'd be back outside playing Skelly with each other.
You talking about a police force? Let's be fair here now. You talking about we don't have 1,000 cops. We only have 700 cops. They're saying it might even be less than that. We don't know.
Yeah.
They 300 for our sake. Right?
Yeah.
Criminals know this. The criminals know. I tell you one thing, these juvenile delinquent out here, this carjacking, they definitely know. Because this carjacking every day, basically.
And they not
if they're short on policemen, they're short on EMTs. What's going on?
Let's shift it over to the Baltimore City Council.
They sure are crooked.
They'll tell you that's not our gig right there. That's down there in the state in Annapolis in terms of the law. See, this is why I think the governor, why he said, okay, that's it. I'm gonna just go ahead and do this conceal and carry permit thing that the state of Maryland people, because they don't have no protection. Right? And there's all this carjacking, and they're gonna let these kids run crazy. Right? And don't show no accountability for it. And God forbid, God forbid, right? I don't want to see nobody shall get shot by somebody out here that's just driving from point A to point B, but they have a gun on them that day. And some kid, some 14-year-old come up waving a gun, talking about open up your window, give me your phone so I can cash out myself.
Right.
Car surrounded.
Right.
Right. Or a SUV jump out in front of the car, and 4 dudes jump out the car. Right. If a person with a gun on them that has a legal permit on them,
they're going to use it.
What do you expect them to do?
They're going to use it.
That's exactly why the governor did what he did, because he already knew that the people down in the city and in the state period don't have no protection.
Right.
It's the police job to do that kind of stuff. They have the power down in Annapolis to put policies in place to hold these young folks accountable.
And they're not doing that. They're allowing them to get away with it.
You can smoke weed in the house.
Right.
No, you're not doing no weed in my house.
Right.
I don't even smoke weed. What makes you think you're gonna lay in here and smoke some damn weed in my goddamn house?
Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. That's right.
That's what a parent does. I think, Joyce, I was telling you about the day I was I went to order some food, and I was at Security Mall, and I was sitting there waiting for my food, and I hear these two, what I think are 2 grown women, arguing back and forth. And one, they're arguing about, you took my weed, and when we get home, you better take your behind upstairs and don't mess with my weed no more. I look up, it's a mother and daughter.
Mother and daughter.
Over weed. And this is what I'm talking about in our community. It's just like, we got to get back, and we got to start teaching.
If they went with Kurt Smoke years ago, it wasn't popular.
I love Kurt Smoke.
It's going to legalize heroin, right? That might have we might not be in this situation today.
Right.
You would have took the profit out of that, would have took the folks off the corner. They could legally go to Wisconsin. They've been doing it in Europe.
That's right.
Yeah.
Hit them in the pocket. That's what we have to do. We have to protect and serve for ourselves. You know, in a way, we do. It's what we're out there. All of us. We're doing a sort of policing, but we have to be very careful when we do that. Now, there are times, like if I'm riding down the street, I saw this man. He was really beating this lady up, and I'm driving down Pennsylvania Avenue, and I yelled out the window, "It is a policeman a block up!" Like, he's looking around, but that stopped him from hitting that lady. Like, come on, we have to, at some point, when are we going to get it? And we have to hold each other accountable. I have an accountability partner. Let me tell you something. I'll think, oh, she didn't hear me. Yeah, she heard you and she sees you. And I need somebody to sometimes say, hey, Joy, you ain't right about that. Somebody to say.
But like Dionne Warwick and them sung about years ago, that's what friends are for.
That's what friends are for.
People that are
consider her family. And I do the same thing for her. Let me tell you, she'll say something and I'll be like, okay. Now, we ain't got to agree, but you can't say that particular thing that you're saying. Like, you gotta have somebody that will say, hey, that will snatch you up. Be like, now, you're not right. And we can agree to disagree, but we don't want to hold our children accountable. We don't want to be accountable ourselves. Everybody just running amok, these young people doing what they want to do. And then, like, if my son is 40 now, but if he ever, they're talking about the man who turned his son in, I saw this on Dateline, his son killed somebody, and he said he overheard the conversation. And let me tell you, he said, oh no, he waited. He let him go upstairs and he thought everything was okay. Oh, about 50 policemen will come running up in there to get him out of there. He's like, that's my son. But he took a life. We have to stop oh, my son ain't never do that. What the song say? And he still got smoked at baby party. Whatever it say. Get it together.
I wish people could go to court with me to see how many young people are sitting in court. I'm talking about young people as young as like, I'll say like 14 or 15. Their parents, it's nobody in the courtroom with them. They're in there with the defenders. The one young man, I think I was telling you about him, Joyce, the judge was saying, I'm going to give, this was last month. He said, I'm going to give you another chance. I'm going to let you walk away. I'm going to let you walk away. He said, but I can't make the decision for you. You have to talk to your attorney or you get a jury trial. If you get a jury trial, they're probably going to convict you and send you back to the detention center.
Right.
So after the judge said that, he said to the judge, he said, I'll take the jury trial. The judge said, do you understand what I'm saying? I'm trying to give you a chance.
And he said, can't tell him what to do.
Do you have family here? No, ain't no family here. The judge said, okay, I'm going to say it one more time. He told him again. The boy said, okay, I'll take the jury trial. And the public defender was looking at him and he said, Judge, please give me 1 minute with him. So I hear him
didn't understand.
Telling him, listen, you can take these handcuffs off in a few minutes and go home. He's letting you know he's giving you another chance. But if you say, I want a jury trial, that means that you're going to have to sit here until they get a trial date.
Thank you.
Probably convicted, and then you're going to do some time. So the young man kept saying, but I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't do anything wrong. I just want to get a jury trial. And so he turns around to the judge and the judge said, what's your decision? He said, I want a jury trial. The judge threw his pen up in the air and said, take him out of here. Because he had no family, nobody had to talk to him. And I'm like, where? It was like, and it was
understand.
Basically, the judge actually recognized that he's not even competent to comment.
Right. I was going to say that. I was going to say that. You have to be competent. Yeah.
Like that. See,
I bet you if they had tested him, his IQ would have probably been really low. It's like that's another thing. We gotta prepare our kids. We gotta it breaks my heart when I see a grown man struggling to read something. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to start teaching the GED program. You gotta it has to start somewhere.
I ain't got mine. I'm gonna have to join that. I know a lot of folks. I'm not like
absolutely
folks out there think I got my paper. No, I'm self-taught.
I know that's. I would love to have you in my class. Oh my goodness, we gonna be. Let me tell you, I love to teach. Let me tell you, that is my thing. And I actually only wanted to teach men, and everybody was like, "Why are you so determined to do that?" But I was like, okay, so there's a need on both sides. So that's what we're going to do. I want to teach the world to read. I love to read.
Please don't be embarrassed to say, I don't have my GED, because right now it's so easy to get your GED.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Just open your mouth.
Miss Dorothy, I bet if you went down there, I think it's 120 West Baltimore Street, if they did not move, I bet you could pay that $60-some, take that test and pass. Yeah.
60-something.
It's 60.
You don't have to take all 5 parts like I did back in the day.
Oh, no. It's so easy. Oh my goodness. It's so easy. You should do it. You should. I'm going to give you the information because you should do it. But that's another thing. Yeah. We have to teach them.
We have young people. A lot of the young people that come to court, they have already dropped out of school. They like 16, 17 years old, because in Baltimore, you can drop out at 16.
You can drop out at 16.
So, they don't have that GED. They can't read. They don't understand the paperwork. They don't know what they're signing. And
right.
So if you don't know how to read, or you need to get your GED, this woman right here is going to be teaching. And we're going to come back and talk about that, Joyce, so people can know when to sign up, when it's going to
Yep,
start.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh, we're gonna run it up. Let me tell you, we're gonna run it up. That's my thing. When I teach, I'm in my own little world, and that's what we're doing. And we have to do that because just like Dr. J said, how are you gonna make a decision? This is your life we're talking about, but you can't read, and I know it, people don't like automatically know that lingo, if that the language, this law, this legal stuff. But if you've been in and out of jail, can't read, you go in, somebody got to read your paperwork. You got to let these jailhouse lawyers make some decisions for you, or you got to make them for yourself. When in actuality, you can sit, if you could read and write, you could sit down and write the judge a letter, and say, hey,
I just had a young man that didn't understand what the Miranda right was. And so he pleaded guilty in front of the police officer. Now, it's going to be, and he's guilty, but it's going to really be an uphill battle because you was opening your mouth talking to the police when you should have kept quiet and waited for an attorney.
Right. Let them work.
Right.
To prove you guilty.
Yes.
Don't say anything. Keep your mouth closed. All this paperwork, and they're signing things, admission statements, and all of that stuff. And you know how these police are. They're going to trick you. That's
what they're trained to do.
That's what
they have the right.
They can lie to you.
Reading is your freedom. That's your gateway to freedom.
Absolutely, Doc. Absolutely.
Escape in a book. A lot of these guys that y'all see me interviewing that's coming out, they spent 30, 40, 50, 60 years in prison. The way they escaped was through a book because they knew how to read. And the reading kept their mind sane, and they escaped through reading. You could live where you live in, be where you are, and you can escape through reading.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
That's a fact.
Don't wait for somebody to tell you. Read it for yourself.
Read it for yourself and know, because somebody could tell you that it's raining and you don't know how to read. They pissing on your head. You better
look at Malcolm X and stuff. I mean, a lot of them admire him and stuff, right? Malcolm wasn't no dummy.
He was not.
He picked up a book.
Yeah, that's right.
He learned that daggone dictionary from back to
exactly.
Absolutely. That's what we have to do.
At any table in this world, on any continent, and have a conversation with whoever.
Right. Exactly.
So I mean, it's important.
That's what we got to get back to. So, Joyce, I love what you're doing, and I hope that we actually see more of it. And then I also got to give a shout out to a lot of these agencies that are out here that's embracing our brothers and sisters when they do come out, and they're helping them get GEDs, helping them get
absolutely.
Showing them how to speak, how to look professional. So
what to wear to an interview. Absolutely. That's right. That's right.
We're starting to see that a lot. And so these are the different things that we have to do in the community. And y'all, please support Black businesses.
The Joy of Literacy LLC. Please.
We go and sit in these
but see, and we're talking solutions.
That's right. That's right.
These are solutions to the violence.
Right. Because as we said,
so many other solutions to it.
Yes. Illiteracy.
Collaborating all of those solutions working everywhere. Our community should be filled with LLCs.
That's right.
That's in computer tech.
Absolutely.
Right? That's in pharmaceutical.
Absolutely.
Showing a pathway, since so many people like the drug deal and mix up chemicals.
Already businessmen.
Oh my God, we have scientists out here.
Right. So
they making fake Percocets. You gotta know what you're doing.
So I mean, that's literally a serious pathway that pays good money.
Take that. Oh my goodness. What if they would take that knowledge and put it to good use? I'm telling you, like these jails, I would always, and I still do. I'm talking to young people like, oh, I got this issue. I don't know how to write an email. Come in my class. I'm going to teach you how to write an email. Right. I'm going to teach you
people to write business proposals. They're good at that. They just
absolutely. I do that.
They come out of jail, have good writing skills in terms
absolutely.
Of business proposal.
Right? That's exactly right.
Now, community,
you can charge for that.
Presentation is everything.
You can be a consultant. Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
community.
We just got to do it. We just got to do it because this illiteracy, and I always say illiteracy is slavery. It just
It's the change.
it's colliding with this crime out here, and we gotta stop. You know, like we gotta hold our kids accountable. How you gonna walk past your 12-year-old and they not going to school every day, and you know that child not going to school, and then you get on the news and say, "Oh, Johnny can't read." You know why Johnny can't read? Because you didn't make Johnny get his little ass up and go to school. I don't care how many jobs you working.
How are you in the house knowing that your child can't read, or they not bringing no homework home? Or
My best friend says that
come on.
My son was in college, and I was calling up to the college so much. They said, well, you know, Miss Jenkins, your son is over 21 now, and you know, we have to ask him
For
if
permission.
it's okay. I said, well, you got to get him on the phone because I'm down here. He all the way up in Maine,
and I want to know what's going on.
What is he doing?
That's right.
Make sure he's doing his schoolwork and all that.
You have a child. That child was your child for life.
That's right. And he's 27. And I tell if either one of you ladies ever called me and said, you know what, Eric disrespected me, I would be up in his face so quick.
Absolutely.
So quick.
That's
and
right.
He better not disrespect nobody.
That's right. Yeah. And you know, these kids running around here, you know, one of the other ladies was, you know, saying that, and she was praying also. And she said she just got so filled up because the little boy didn't look more than 7 or 8. He in the store cussing out his grandma.
Yeah.
You know, and so like that, you let him keep cussing at the grandmother, the mother right there. Oh no, baby. No.
Well, that's like on the news just recently that the grandparents that were murdered and the grandfather was all cut up and put in the truck by the grandson up in the county.
Yeah, the grandson had mental health issues.
Yeah. And, okay, so they say he has a mother, and the mother sent him to her parents.
Why? Because somebody should have held her accountable. This is your son. You need to get him some help. Oh, I tell you, wow.
Well, why would you put? You know how if he's that that ain't no just pop up violent episode.
There were signs.
Yeah, that was.
You ever watch Evil Lives Here?
And I know that mother seen those signs. Ain't nowhere in the world. God bless my mother wherever she at in her energy. But I'm saying, if I had a child with special needs that had those kind of tendencies, ain't nowhere in the world I'm gonna set that child. And they grown and they American. They got
that's her parents. Wow.
Right. Wow.
It's related. It's related. That crime. That's another thing. The illiteracy, crime, poverty, mental health issues. We are dealing with a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot to digest. It's a lot on a daily basis. I got to get off here and go upstairs.
No, but listen, I wanted to ask you this before you go. Joyce, do you like comedy?
I love comedy.
And what about you, Dorothy? You like comedy?
Yeah, it's okay.
I love a good laugh.
Dorothy don't seem like but anyway, I was going to surprise the two of you and give you two free tickets to the comedy show. It's this coming Saturday night. It's at 8:00. If you want to go, you don't have to go. But you know, that was a little surprise I wanted to give to you for coming on the show tonight. But it's at 8:00 Saturday night. It's a comedy show.
We're having an event. Oh my goodness! Yeah, I'm having an event. You know, I'm from the time I get up on Saturday, Doc, 5 in the morning. Zip, 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 zip.
Yeah, you're always booked. But but Dorothy, if you want to go, let me know.
A good laugh, although ain't nothing funny to me.
You know what? I find something to laugh about every day because it's so healing. It's so healing.
Laugh is good. Laugh is good.
You gotta get out and laugh, mingle. You probably gonna know most of the people that's there, but Kemp Earl, he does these comedy shows like every 2 to 3 months. They have been packed out. The comedians are funny. This time we're going to be at Sully's on Hartford Road down in the Comedy Cellar. Last couple months ago we were at Magooby's Joke House out in Timonium, and I got to give a shout out to him because this brother spent time in the penitentiary. He spent some time in the penitentiary, and he said the one thing he made up in his mind was that when he came out, he was going to follow his dreams.
That's right.
He set up a plan while he was in prison for what he was going to do when he came out. And he's following that plan. And I've been with this brother, and everything he puts his hands on is growing. And
that's right.
When he first came out, he said, I want to go into entertainment and I just want to do comedy shows. I said, well, go ahead and do it. And all of them have been sold out. And this is what I want to say to everybody. When you're doing stuff, don't think low, think big.
I know that's right. That's right.
Manifesting. That's what we call a man with a vision.
Yeah. He said, right. Well, I don't want to be in nobody's basement doing this. I want to be at this place. And you know what? Like I tell people, sometimes all you got to do is open your mouth and ask, and those doors will be open to you. When he went to Timonium to do Magooby's, that wasn't a Magooby's thing opened out. That was his own private comedy.
Wow.
It was packed out.
Wow.
People came from different states to come to it because this is the power of you manifesting and saying, this is what I want to do. I know I'd had a bad life, a rough life. I did this, that, and the third, but now I want to do better.
That's right. That's right.
So he's a comedian, or is he making people laugh? He's one of the comedians.
He's the one that's getting the comedians.
Oh, okay.
And he has a gift, and this is what I'm saying to people. You don't know how gifted you are until you start opening your mouth.
That's right.
To be able to talk to people, to get comedians like the comedian he had a couple months ago, he got him from California. This man been on stage with Steve Harvey, everybody else. He did the comedy show a couple of months ago. And so sometimes you don't know how powerful you are.
Right.
And you start putting yourself out there. And so that's why I follow him. I support him. I told you I'm with you throughout this entire journey. He got some other stuff coming up I can't really talk about, but that's going to be powerful. Mm-hmm. But these comedy shows is his way of people coming together. And he said, man, I just want people to laugh.
I know that's right. Try it, Miss Dorothy. I'm telling you. Yes.
Laugh,
Yes. Absolutely. Nice. We all need some reasons to laugh, some reasons to be happy. Yeah. We have so much going on. That's why I'm not watching the news in the morning. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna play me some old school music, rumors and all that stuff. I'm telling you, some KRS-One. Yeah. I'm gonna play some music.
Yeah. So that Black community at times detox themselves from the media because it can be bombarded. It can make you depressed. And
Won't it? It will, Miss Dorothy. I gotta go, ladies.
Right, ladies. So thank you so much for coming on, Miss Dorothy. If you decide you want to go, just text me. I'll make sure I'll put your name on the list. Let them know that you coming Saturday night. If anybody else gets a ticket, they're $25 right now. It's $40 at the door. But I promise you, you're going to love this comedy show on Saturday night. Come out, mingle. Just enjoy yourself for a couple hours. It's going to be fun. We're going to take some pictures, do some backstage interviews. It's going to be a lot of fun. So y'all, thank you so much. And pray for Baltimore City. Pray for
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I know. Let me tell you.
Leadership, because once again, we're going through another change.
Absolutely. So many changes. So many changes. God bless Baltimore. Good night, ladies.
Good night. Take care.
Good night. Good night.